I rarely pull out that claymore anymore. It's just not as useful as previous games. Takes away your semtex, you only get one. Can't really be abused. Stalker, really good. Why use it? Oh, whoa! How did he not see me? I love it when I have an excuse to pull out one of my catchphrases. How did he not see me?
Smoove is waiting on you. Smoove is waiting on you. There he goes again. Oh, look, he's running.
I had a really interesting dream the other night. It might make for a good commentary, you never know. So in this dream, I was some kind of scientist, some kind of researcher. And I had this smoove laboratory where I would do my experiments. And I somehow figured out a way to make any element out of any other element. It was unbelievable. Oh, look at that Lob City. Look at those Lob City skills right there. So this dream, it was kind of like a movie. I was able to take dirt. Oh, I just heard a tactical insertion. I gotta watch out. There might be a noob back there where those boxes are with that TI. But I was able to take dirt and extract the protons, the neutrons, the electrons. You know, that stuff you learned in like middle school. I was able to extract those and then put them together to make other elements. Oh, this is beautiful. This is beautiful, like a natural 34D. Or maybe a 36D, or maybe a natural 34 double D. Ooh. Tactical insertion noobs bring a smile to my face. So anyway, I took the protons from dirt, and I had a lot of dirt. So I had unlimited protons, and I put them together to make gold. Now, I'm not sure how many protons you need to make gold. And I know there's probably going to be a comment that's going to be like, oh, it really takes, 90 something or 100 something, whatever. Okay, that's not the point. But anyway, I made it splash with gold. I made so much gold that I could fill up a truck, one of those big trucks you see on the highway. I could fill up the whole truck with all this gold I made. And it was practically free. I just took dirt right off the ground and bam, converted it into gold. Now, the problem, though, came when it was time for me to spend the money that I made from selling that gold, because the government was going to be like, how did he buy that house? How did he buy that Lambo? How did he buy these things? What's his occupation? And it wouldn't add up. So what I decided to do in a dream was I took a trip to a country that had gold somewhere. I forgot what country it was. And I went hiking on a mountain, and I just said I got the gold from there. And over time, it became a real hassle because I didn't really want to do all this unnecessary traveling and hiking. But I didn't really want to tell anybody about this new technology because I would only have a patent for like 20 years. I didn't want to rush. I wanted to camp. I didn't want to rush with my technology. I wanted to camp it out and just milk it, just make all the money. And I kept that smoove technology a secret like a boss. And then I took out some loans and I said, you see, that's how I paid for this and this in the business with the loans. Then when the company got big, I sold 49% of the stock, paid off the loans, the interest. It was looking real legit. And the new business was a car company. I was selling cars. I still used the dirt trick, but instead of making gold, I would just make what I needed to make the cars. I'd make steel. I'd make all that stuff. And my cars were amazing. I was basically selling Lamborghinis, Ferrari type vehicles for $30,000. $30,000. I was putting all these people out of business. At first, it was slow. It was slow for the first few years because the rich people, they didn't want to buy the car. They were like, it's $30,000? This isn't a luxury car, $30,000. That's too cheap. A luxury, but this isn't a Ferrari, a Lamborghini. It can't compete. It's only $30,000. But after a few years, when the general population, when most of them had these cars, the rich people realized that everyday American citizens, the middle class, had better vehicles than they did. So they eventually gave in and they bought my vehicle for $30,000. And it was such a success that I started making other cars. I made SUVs and sedans, and I sold them real cheap for like $5,000. I basically dominated the market. Look at that Reaper taking my double kill. But anyway, I basically dominated the car market, and I was putting all of these car companies out of business. I had trillions and I almost had whatever comes after trillions. That's how much money I had. I had like $900 trillion on me at this point, about 5 years later. And I ended up buying the state of Florida. I just bought the state. You know how every state has its own saying, like Florida, the Sunshine State? I changed it. I said Florida, the Chris Smoove State. So the world was starting to become terrified of Chris Smoove because I pretty much was taking over the car industry and people didn't know what to do. So all the competitors, GM, Ford, Mercedes, everybody, they started buying hundreds of my vehicles, and they would take them apart and they'd see, you know, like, how is he doing this? How is he able to sell them so cheap? And what they found was that my parts were legit. Everything was legit. It was good steel. It was good. But the only thing was, they realized I didn't get my steel from places that they got their steel from. I didn't get my steel from Japan. I didn't get my steel. They couldn't trace where I got it from. And that was raising red flags. All these companies were like, where is he getting this steel from? Because basically, like, all of my activities were so secret. No one could trace my sources, my suppliers. They couldn't trace it. And so here comes the adversity. The government demanded an audit. I had to tell them everything. I had to tell them, you know, where I was buying my supplies from and all this stuff. And as you know, I didn't have any suppliers. I was my own supplier. I was making all of my supplies out of dirt. And this is when I woke up. I guess my mind could not figure out how to solve this dilemma with the audit. And that's when I woke up, because it got too complicated. It didn't make any sense. And I woke up. So I don't know. Let me know if this is believable. Is this just crazy? Is just terrible? Is it just so left field that it doesn't make any sense? I don't know. But all I know is I was a boss in that dream. And I'd have to make another commentary if I told you what happened with the ladies. I mean, $900 trillion? Do you know what you could buy with $900 trillion? Yeah. So that would have to be a whole nother commentary right there. But when I woke up, it just felt believable to me. I woke up, I was like, whoa, that was a dream right there. Wow, I was hitchhiking and climbing up mountains and lying about getting gold and oh man, it was just unbelievable.